Patty, what's happening? Hello, Max. Good to see you. Welcome. Good Monday evening. Hey, Fox dude. Unfinished project 777. Doing a lot better this week. Max, how about you? How are things down south of the border? Fox dude and I got to hang out on Sunday a little bit. It was nice. You are still here? Where? Oh, there. I All right, Colleen. Hi, Buff. Is Fox Dude really a fox? I think the ladies think so. If you look at his profile picture, he's a general. He's a general fox. It's a fox picture with a military uniform on, at least at one time. Today, anything is possible. I replaced the plastic oil pressure line with copper on the 71 Dart. Smart. Yes. I survived the Archimedes 2 fly by of the moon. Very cool. I'm good to know. I guess I did too. It's funny that we haven't been there since what, the early 70s? Or no, we didn't even make it because wasn't the Apollo 13 that was supposed to go there and then they had to abort the mission and then they had to do the slingshot thing where they get around the moon to use the moon's gravity to propel them back to Earth. I can't believe those men made it home. Is the moon still there? I didn't look. Did they bring home any cheese? Did the man on the moon wink at them when they went by? Hey, Mohawk, what's happening? Apollo 17 was the last trip in 72. Okay. Thank you, Buff, and thank you, Old Mac. I wonder if the moon buggy would, if they were able to go to the moon buggy, I wonder if it would still work. Happy Easter, Backdraft. I watched a thing tonight about Grandma. What's happening? Watched the thing tonight where a guy took slices of bacon and then he laid out a strip of burger across the bacon and then he rolled it up as like a pinwheel and then fried them up as burgers. That sounds pretty good. That is, if you're into bacon. I am. Went and did some chores outside. It was wanting to, it snowed a little bit, just some, it hailed, but it was real small hail and it didn't do it very long. They're like really big snowflakes more than hail. But it hailed a little bit, it rained a little bit, then the sun would come out, clouds would clear, and then the gray clouds would roll in. And so I seen a break in the Braden and Faith. Oh man, still the dynamic duo. Nice. And so between all the nasty rounds of weather, I did make sure to run out and oh, it's Dr. Go. Hey, actually, Dr. Go, as you already know, there is no dark side of the moon. Actually, it's all dark. Seeing fine as I am, getting the Dougster live, loud, and clear. That's right. Got the turbo fixed on my VW. Runs like new again. Nice. So between all the weather and everything, my driveway, when it rains, there's a bunch of other people down. Oh, aloha, cousin Magic Mike. Just some fun referencing the song. Oh, I did too. The last line of that song on Dark Side of the Moon is a voice saying there is no dark side of the moon. It's all dark. And so the water flows north down the side of the road. Well, people down the road have sandy driveways. It picks up the sand out of their driveways. And then I have asphalt at the end of my driveway. And then it makes this big sandy swath in front of my driveway. So I shoveled it out today and then got rid of all the sand. So that'll help a little bit. Ooh, Cub Cadet ZT150. Took me a while to figure out how to do valve last adjustment on the Sakakawi engine. Had to watch YouTube to learn how. That's right. Chloe, hi, Dad. I hope you're not calling me Dad. Because all of my kids have fur and paws. I sprayed herbicide all day. Oh boy, that sounds like so much fun. I took 4 wheelbarrow loads. I mean, my wheelbarrow is more like a little garden cart than it is an actual wheelbarrow, but I still took 4 loads of sandy dirt and pebbles and whatnot away from the end of my driveway. So I'm glad I got it done because it gets built up. If I don't keep after it, I have to do it like once a year. If it builds up all day in the Johnny D. What is the Star of David behind you? It's not the Star of David. It's the Dodge Brothers logo. Now you see the 2 triangles. There was 2 Dodge Brothers. Now if you look at the it's a triangle and a triangle. If you look up Greek letters, the triangle is D, Delta. And then the Dodge Brothers interlaced them because it was the 2 brothers, John and Horace Dodge. So that's not the Star of David. That's just the logo for Dodge Brothers. See, Dodge Brothers, sales and service. So it's not the Star of David. The Dodge Brothers is John and Horace Dodge. John and Horace Dodge were brothers, and they ran a machine shop. And they made metal parts in the early days of automobiles. Now, at the same time, Henry Ford was a failed businessman 3 times. He had 2 other businesses in the original Ford Motor Company, which all ended badly for him, which the original Ford Motor Company went on to become Cadillac. And, but so now Henry Ford is trying to scrape capital together to start up the Ford Motor Company that we all know today. And a lot of people do not want to do business with Henry Ford because he's failed 3 times in business. So he's a high risk. The Dodge brothers, John and Horace, were already doing well for themselves with their business making metal parts. So they decide to take the gamble on doing business with Henry Ford because they know that Henry Ford has no choice but to give them a better deal. So for a $10,000 investment, and this is like the 19 teens or the 1900 somethings, they get a stake in Ford Motor Company. It was $3,000 in cash and $7,000 worth of parts. Now, the Dodge brothers, so this is long before they started their own cars. They did not make cars. All they did was make parts for other people and Ford Motor Company. So not only were they investors, they were also suppliers to Ford Motor Company. So they were selling parts to Ford Motor Company so they could build cars. Plus, they were getting dividends from the company. And so they were doing very well for themselves. And then Henry Ford believed that his Model T, there was nothing better. You couldn't improve upon it. He refused. He refined the car, but he refused to do anything different with the Model T. And then eventually, Henry Ford gets a wild hair in his behind, and he views his investors as parasites, and he wants to own all the Ford Motor Company for himself. So he gets this bright idea that he's going to leave all of Ford Motor Company to his son Edsel, and he's going to start a new Ford Motor Company that's going to sell a car at half the price of the Model T. Well, the Model T is the most affordable car in America, and this new Ford car is going to sell at half the price, and it's got everyone worried. So this man from Oregon, Oregon plates, Oregon driver's license, Oregon checkbook, comes around and starts talking to all the investors and buys up all the shares. It was one of Henry Ford's cronies with Henry Ford's checkbook. The Dodge brothers turned a $10,000 investment into $25 million. Not bad return on one's money over less than 20 years. And then they went on to start the Dodge brothers, which is now Dodge. So that's one of the best deals in U.S. history. That's not bad return on investment. I agree. Saw 2 baby squirrels in the yard. Nice. And Beth Lee did an excited dance around the nest. Yeah, one of the things that the Dodge brothers wanted to have was a gas gauge. Henry Ford's like, you don't need a gas gauge. What do you need one of those for? Yeah, not only is that all Dodge brothers, but the little metal things here over my shoulder, those are all Dodge brothers hubcaps. And they have the Dodge brothers, if I can get you in the corner there, DB. See the DBs? For Dodge brothers. And those are all from the teens. And then they're actually a grease cap, and it's like a hubcap, but they actually thread it onto the end of the hub. Thanks, Patty. The early automotive stuff I find fascinating anyway. Like, why is the Model T, being the first car that Ford ever made, why is a Model T called a Model T? Well, that's because when he finally, with each revision level, it changed. Because there was a Model A, Model B, Model C, Model D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. And then they made it all the way and kept making another car, another revision level until they got to T. And then that's why they kept Model T. The Dodge boys were looking into the future and wanted to know how fast a future would burn through a tank of fuel. Oh, I think the Dodge brothers would have an absolute riot with 60s Mopars. I think they've been very proud with how technological they became. That was a lot in thanks to Walter P. Chrysler. Walter P. Chrysler um, took the ball and ran with it. He was a machinist at heart, and he appreciated good engineering. And so yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why. Because in the 50s, like Chrysler in the 60s, Chrysler was known as an engineering company. They made really good stuff. And but they were always the weakling little brother. So they were trying to do the most they could with as little as they could. They couldn't compete money with the money of Ford or the money of General Motors. So Chrysler Corporation, in their infinite wisdom, they made something. They made it well. They tested the living crap out of it. They made it as good as they could do it. And then when it was perfect, then they incorporated it on everything they made, like a Mopar starter. I mean, the same starter that goes on a Slant 6 goes on a Hemi. It goes on a 440. It goes on a 318. It goes on a V6. It goes on. I mean, they used one thing and they used it across the board, and it was really interesting. The Hemis actually the 426 legendary Hemi was too expensive for Chrysler. They lost money on the valve train on each and every one they built because of how intricate everything was. And it never actually seen fruition, but there was supposed to be a predecessor engine after the 426 Hemi, and it was called the Ball Stud Hemi. And they actually had, like, it was so far along that there was actually real engines, real Ball Stud Hemi engines made. Dick Landy had like 7 or 10 of them, and he was actually playing with them. And the Ball Stud Hemi was going to have a valve train in it, much like a big block Chevy, which was going to be a lot cheaper for Chrysler Corporation to affordable for them to build. The Ball Stud Hemis were going to come in two displacements, 400 cubic inch and 444 cubic inch. And then the gas crunches happened, and economy standards and cafe standards came in, and then Dodge or Chrysler Corporation just abolished the whole program. And there was always a Dodge car making it to the finals in racing. Always outnumbered, but always a competitive challenge. Right. Oh, predecessor is what came before just saying, you're right. You're right. I used the wrong terminology. Thank you, Miguel. Yeah, the how would you say that? What follows? So yeah, so I would like to have seen the Ball Stud Hemi actually put into production. Like, there's some out there in the world, but they're rare as hen's teeth. The only living relative to the Ball Stud Hemi is, I think it is the Australian Hemi 6 that we never seen here in America, but that's an engine of legend in the land down under. Oh, Dr. Goes says, saw a wooden boat that had two big block 440s in it with direct drive. Got to hear them start both engines with the dual underwater exhaust with flappers. Sounded so good. Descendant. Yes, that was the term. Thank you, old Mac. I couldn't think of it. Descendant. Yes, that's exactly the term. Now, usually when in a marine application, if you have twin engines, the engines one will turn in proper engine rotation, and the other one will turn against proper engine rotation. And I don't know if they rotate the engines to each other or away from each other, but it's to counterbalance each other. Yeah, so be careful if you're buying a marine engine If it was a twin engine setup, it very well could be reverse rotation. Works with people too. Prodigy. Yes, it's Prodigy. Yes, that's true. I always think of a prodigy being as someone who is very young and very intelligent, like Steve Winwood was a musical prodigy. He was very musically inclined at a very young age, and was always very. I think I'm using that term properly, aren't I? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I met a gentleman who turned his. I've heard of Prodigy. They have a couple of good songs, including the tune "Smack My Bitch Up." You are spot on, Dougster. And most single-engine marine engines are reverse rotation. Love the cam profiles and low end torque of a marine engine successor. Yes, yes, all are acceptable terms. Thank you, Dan the man. Pretty cool if you fire up your car, hit the gas, and it goes backwards. Yeah, let's have 6 speeds of reverse, shall we? A gentleman that I knew, he turned his hobby into a full time job. He just loved woodworking and he loved wooden boats. And he just would tinker with wooden boats and he learned how to fix them. And there's a lot of Chris Crafts and stuff around here. Giggity. All right. Kev, what's happening? Um, so he would tinker with wooden boats and then he had himself like a little two sleeper little cabin sleeper speedboat and played with those, and he's working and just a hobby, just what he does in his free time, and it makes him a little bit of money, but it's more for the love of the thing, but he still worked full time doing a normal job. So one day him and his wife go up to northern Michigan and they're actually on the Mackinac Bridge. They're driving from Mackinac City, which is on the lower peninsula, to St. Ignace, which is on the other side of the bridge. And so as they're crossing the Mackinac Bridge, he sees a whole line of wooden speedboats go underneath the bridge. And they're headed towards St. Ignace. And he's like, I gotta check those out. So he goes up there, and it's a whole club. He ends up meeting a whole club of wooden speedboat guys. And he starts putting his business cards out. He starts getting calls. Next thing you know, he's working on these rich guys' wooden boats. So last I knew, he was paying finder's fees. If your information found him a wooden boat, he'd pay you. If your information actually helped him make a sale and buy a boat, he'd pay you finder's fees. And I remember him buying this boat that it was a wooden speedboat. It had a Pierce Arrow car engine in it, and it was an absolute rotted mess. It was done. It was like built in the late 20s or something like that. And he's all excited about this. Engine's done, and the boat is just rotted, and he's all excited about it. And I'm like, you have to replace the whole boat. Why are you so excited? He goes, hardware. He goes, this hardware that's in this boat, the brass pieces and all the joinery pieces and all the metal stuff in here, I can't replace that. He goes, I can replace the wood. I can't replace everything else. He goes, so if I have the hard parts, he goes, the wood's easy. And yeah, I need to fire up my speedboat and take it out. I love boats. I like Mike's boat. I like Kevin's boat. I like Dan's boat. I like boats. I like their boats and his boat and her boat. I don't own boats. A boat will kill you. Ah, ha, ha. It will kill you. Well, boat. It's an acronym. Yes, Kev beat me to it. Bust out another 1,000. Boat is also a wooden, aluminum, or fiberglass hole in the water that you continually throw money into. I've taken the fishing boat out once so far. The biggest boat me and Lady Dougster ever owned was we had a little fishing boat that it was just like vac form plastic, and it had two swivel chairs in it, and we would go fish on it. And then we had a canoe, an old town canoe. With a boat, it's gallons to the mile. Yes, it is, but usually you're going pretty fast. Time to get a new phone. This thing's been acting oddly. Oh man. Knowing Dan, you're probably gonna get the frickin' Bugatti Veyron of phones, aren't you? There is some really cool. I mean, to be honest, though, there are some really cool old boats out there. I like old boats, old speed boats. Um, uh, New phone here, not any better. That's too bad, Kev. Um, uh, a friend of my father's when I was a little kid. He still has the boat. As a matter of fact, his name's Jim. And at one time, Jim had like a 71 or a 72 El Camino in black and his speedboat was black too. So how cool would that look with his El Camino on torque thrusts, towing his speedboat that had a blown big block Chevy in it. And Jim's son one night took me for a rip across the lake in it. And it was at night and it was raining sideways, and I didn't care. I I just ate that up, listening to that blower right behind me, and it had the big old chrome Bigfoot pedal on the floor, and I loved it. He took it across the lake to the boat launch, where they had to take it out, and the rain's hitting me in the face, and the Jim's son says to me, "Well, you can duck down behind the windshield if the rain's bothering you." I refused. I was probably like 8 years old at this time, and I bared it. I was loving it. Oh man, that boat was something else. Chris Crafts are pretty cool. Yeah, there used to be a Chris Craft facility in Granville, Michigan. My speedboat is like a 68 racing craft. Okay. What is Freckles' boat? It's a cabin sleeper. It's a bigger boat. It's got a GM inline six in it. Is that it's a Penyan. 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 It's a Penyan. And that's a pretty neat boat. Destroyer has a big old pontoon here on the Kentucky Lake. Cool. I think if I was to invest in something to go play on the water, I wouldn't have a speedboat. I'd have a pontoon boat. Yeah, I'd have a pontoon boat for sure. Michigan in the big game tonight. Go blue, baby. Dun, 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 dun. Straighten out his t-shirt. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Let's go, blue. Yeah, if I was to have a boat, I'd have a pontoon boat. I'm just more into just chill. go out in a nice got the dogs barking with that singing. Don't make me howl, I'll make them howl back. I won't do it. What kind of dogs do you have, Kev? Yeah, I'm really impressed how far the Michigan Wolverines have gone this season. For I'm not a real big basketball fan, but appreciation where appreciation is due. Yeah, I think they start at like 8:45, or it's like almost 9 o'clock tonight. Yeah, we got to push over Yukon. One Yorkie poo, okay, and one Turkey Bella, okay. Yeah, yep. Back in the day, a friend of mine was going to buy a cheap pontoon boat, and I had the bright idea because they were all fly fishing guys, and I come up with a bright idea to where we take the canopy on the boat and then make it so it would collapse. Just flip a lever and the whole thing would fall back, and that way, if they'd get up to a spot and they wanted to fly fish, they could just hit the lever, the whole canopy would fall back so they could fly fish, like in the lily pads and stuff. It just got talked about and never actually seen. Mutts or hybrids? Ankle biters. I kind of figured that you'd have little dogs. Freckle used to have English Mastiffs for the longest time, and those dogs were all just big lugs, 170 pounds of love. They look scary coming at you until you realize they're just nothing but marshmallow. Me and Freckle used to hang out and have bonfires and friends over, and old Dougster might get a little tuned up and start. I'd wrestle with the dog. I'd get him all wound up, and he would come and run at me, and I'd push him away from me as he'd come and jump up on me, and that was good fun. Oh, can't have a dog that sheds because the warden has allergies. Yep. Masters are the best. Yeah. He had Mo was the first one I remember him having, and he was the biggest mastiff I'd ever seen. And then Jake, who just passed on not too long ago. He was the best. Yeah, he was like 170 pounds. He had paws. I am not lying that they were that big. They were huge. We had a golden cocker. Her name was Maggie growing up at the house, and she was a great dog. Love to have border collies or standard collies. Okay, when my grandmother remarried in the early 80s, my step grandpa had a standard collie, and his name was Opie. And Opie would get on barking fits and he wouldn't stop. Arf, 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 arf. And he wouldn't stop. And it was such that high pitched collie yip. And you'd hear my grandpa step outside and go, enough! Opie would stop arfing. God, that was funny. Yep. Rudy was massive, but the most loving animal you have besides. Oh, Yeah, you can tell Lily's a little sweetie. Yep. Yep. Didn't have a dog as a pet until Lady Dougster and I. All good dogs go to Kevin. Ha 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 ha. Lady Dougster and I have had. Ooh, shoot. One, two, three. Ruby's the fourth dog that we've had together. We had Wrangler. He was a blue heeler, and then he passed from old age. And then we got Patch, who was a rescue red heeler, and then we had Sadie. She was another rescue. Sadie was a Kelpie, which is a subbreed of heeler, and I think she was heeler and like beagle, because she was the only heeler I ever seen that used her nose extensively, and she had the oysters on her tush, if you know what I'm talking about, the oysters. If you know what a beagle has, she had those, but she was marked beautifully. She was black. She was black, white, and brown, speckled. She was a gorgeous dog. And then she passed away by an unfortunate accident a few years ago. And then Ruby, we've had since she was a puppy, and another red heeler. Yes, we always go for Jake. On the other hand, I mean, usually the Mastiffs usually only lived for like 6-7 years. Jake was 12 human years when he passed away, so he had some definite extra innings, so I was happy. Still sucked that he passed away. Poodle lived until 19. Good lord. My dad was a strange man. 1960 Olympic weightlifter and swimmer. Went to a 4-year college, graduated in 2.5 years with a master's in art, computer design, language and programming, and Bible studies. Plus, wow. Sounds to me like the old man was a smart dude. We have 6 dogs now. Wow. We only have one. And then we've had 4 cats. We've had 4 cats. Rudy was 8 when he passed. It was like 12 and a half. It doesn't round up to 13. Dino, welcome. All my dogs we had were Bonzo, Duchess, Holly, Mandy, Yoda, and Chewy. Nice. Tanner, what's happening? I was watching your moving video where you're loading up the cars and carving up the satellite tires with the overloaded satellite, and all the cams that you had, and how you whack the shed with that small block Chevy. I didn't hear the woes. But good for you that you've got your own shack now. Wonder if you could set up the end of that shop differently and go to a roll door instead of the swing out barn doors to get more access to your shed, to your big garage. In some, nothing, same thing. Father of Bud the Spud. I only slightly mangled the cherry picker. It's all fine. Minty Bud. Nanu. Orson. Mork to Orson. Come in, Orson. Orson would be a good name for a dog. Colleen's back. Oh, Bobby Frizzell is an FE guy. If you want, I can send him your number. Oh, that'd be nice. Oh, yeah. My aunt made jambalaya for Easter dinner yesterday. That was really good. I already have a car in the air in that shop. The Pinto was in there in the air getting measured for a 5-speed swap. Had to modify the transmelt, but that's it. Nice. That's going to transform that car. I've been here tended the bonfire. Yeah, I need to go once it dries out. It's not raining. I need to go across the street and cut up more of that fallen trees that are over there. I'll tell you what, I could probably heat my house for a winter with as much wood if we heated with wood. But there's enough wood fallen across the street that I could probably heat my home for a winter on nothing but just what's dead. I would have to cut down any live trees. Just there's some trees over there that are 3 foot in diameter that fell over. I'm probably not going to attack those because I don't have a splitter and I ain't swinging them all anymore. I'm too old for that crap. Now, if some young buck wants to come over and swing them all, hey, come right over. I'll set you up, bud. Now I can borrow a log splitter. Oh, burn ban drought? Yeah, it's wet enough around here. We wouldn't have that problem. Got 3 piles of wood, trees and branches to burn. Well, that's what I plan to do is anything that's a good size, a good firewood size, I'm just going to chunk up. And then, Danster, what's happening? I'm just going to chunk up and put out back for the back fire pit. I have a fire pit in the front yard, and that I'm trying to burn out an old stump in the front yard, and then I've got a big fire pit in the back, and so I'm just going to chunk up all the actual firewood and pull that out back, and then all the sticks and twigs and whatnot I'll just burn in the front fire pit up front because I'm tired of looking across the street and seeing all that wood there, and not to mention it's all encroaching right up against the road, and nobody's done anything about it. So apparently I'm going to do something about it. Across the border in Alabama, it's $1,000 fine if they catch you burning anything. Holy wah. Yeah, I've seen some pretty nasty fires happen around here with people being careless. Well, it's always the same too. You'll get like someone will have a bonfire and then people will show up and hang out and get drunk and then they'll walk over and go get the wood pile and they'll throw a whole F ton of wood on the fire and get a big old blaze going and then they get bored and then they just like, well, we're going to take off, bye. And then you're left there with this huge blaze. I've even had them do it where no one's there. No one's attending it. They stoke up this huge fire and then walk away. It's like, what? You can't do that. With all the logging and ice storm damage up here, no worries about big forest fires anytime soon. Yeah. Fire department shows up, it's $600 at least. At least. That's the one thing I'm happy about is the fire department I'm right on top of the fire department. few miles away. As a matter of fact, if the first responders are headed down to the fire station, they drive past my place to go to the fire station. So they'll get an eyeball on the situation before they even jump in the truck to come see me. I hope I never have to see them for that. We had a really bad car accident in front of our house a number of years ago, and that was bad enough. Ordered a jump pack and tire inflator. Cool, Danster. Our houses are too close together. Yeah, I'm kind of country where I'm at. I'm happy where I'm at. Wish I had a little more land. I've only got like half an acre, but hey, still it's nice country. I ain't got neighbors across the street. So it's all right here. Now the people who live on the lake, they're right on top of each other. Some counties charge the perp for every gallon of water they use to put out the fires, plus a big fine. Ooh, half an acre is quite decent. Yeah, I wish I had like 5 acres. A little bit of land to go out and roam. If I wanted to, go cruise around on my property, I could. Because a hot lap on half an acre, that's a pretty fast lap. I think mine is something 1.1 something of an acre. Ooh, that's even worse. Tanner says, I'm only a quarter mile from the fire department at my new house. I'm hoping once my dad retires, I can get on there. It'd be nice to work. Oh, your dad's going to retire. Your dad is part of the fire department. We have an acre and a half. Destroyer has 5. Looking at your parcel from the videos, not that I've ever been to Dan IT guy and Beth Lee's place, but it looks like you guys got more property for whatever reason. I just assumed that you guys had more property than Destroyer. Yeah, Destroyer's got a nice place. Being able to go fish out your back door, how cool is that? Got the Wolf Box from Best Buy. Recommended by Dylan McCool. I like Dylan McCool. Dad has 24 years at the local fire department. Now, is he a full-time, like actual fire department employee, or is he a volunteer? Not saying that that's any different, but does he actually like spend time at the firehouse, or does he go in whenever the tones go out and he's on? He has weekends on and weekends off. The ranch is the shizzle. I think what it ends up being, Max, is that there's no openings right now. So I think what Tanner wants to do is once Pops retires, he'll take Pops' spot. Oh, I burned a field when I was 12. The chief made me spend the day at the firehouse watching videos of burned kids and house fires. Ooh. That's a good idea. I can't. That would be nepotism. City manager won't let it happen. Now, that makes sense. Now, the fire department from in the town where I went to high school, the chiefs and the son work together, but okay. Different departments, different rules. Since when do they care about that? Some do, Max. My dad's been full-time since 2004. He's been the captain of his shift since 2006. I was a firebug. I was a bad boy. If you are capable and pass all the tests, why would it matter? Conflicting interest, nepotism. There's a lot of places that are that way. They'll let brothers work together, but not father and son, and I can barely stand being in the same room with him sometimes anyway. We have just enough land to keep us busy. Well, for the most part, it still takes a little bit to mow the yard and but not too long. And then the only time that the our property really is makes you busy is when the leaves fall, and then it's leaf cleanup time. But we've got a tow behind leaf sweeper for our lawn tractor, which is a godsend, one of the best purchases we ever made. And Lady Dougster will drive all around, pick up all the leaves, and she brings them out back and dumps them for me. Sometimes I'll even do it, go and dump it out in the back fire pit, and I'll stoke up a nice fire, and then I'll torch them son of a bucks. And I'll have piles upon piles upon piles of leaves, and it's always the same thing. I'm in it to win it. I don't leave until the leaf piles are all burned up. And I'll actually I got just that right way to keep the fire going and hot and burning, and it'll get so hot with a leaf fire that I can't hardly stand next to it to keep feeding it fuel. I'll be back in a bit. Have to go grab my stuff from my house. I work tomorrow, so I'll be sleeping at the folks' place tonight. All right, see you in a little bit, Tanner. Many people change their last name so you don't know how they're related to the boss. I don't know why YouTube gives you such a hard time, Kev. Took about 2 hours for Tracy to mow and about an hour for me to trim it. Wow. Now, if you set up things in the right way, if you mow it right, you'll have a lot less trimming to do. Which reminds me, I need to get probably later this week, I'll get the garage popped open and I'll take the snow blower and run the carburetor out of fuel and get it ready for winter storage, and then bring the lawn tractor over and park that up front. And it probably needs a service and a clean out and wash down and all that normal spring stuff. I always will blow out the deck and reach up underneath where all the pulleys are and pull all the trash out. And Green Army men, run some lighter fluid in a Zippo. Hey, what could go wrong? Mom, what the hell happened to your jacket sleeve? I don't know. Trim first and blow it onto the lawn while for the wife to go over it with the mower. Okay, that's a good idea. Reality, however, all right, be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh. I'm back. Did you miss me? I know you did. Always bag our grass clippings. We don't. You're investing goats and cows. Gotta be YouTube. I rebooted my phone. Need some cattle and a couple of goats. Yeah. And you got to give the cattle names like tasty, beefy, delicious, T-bone, porterhouse, burger, freezer beef. Kev says my laptop took a dump. Too many cookies. And I'm guilty of that crime. Lady Dougster mows a lot. So I'm really thankful for beefsteak. That's right. I'm really thankful for Lady Dougster. And Lady Dougster like got all into mowing lawn, and then she figured out how to mow on the diagonal pattern and stuff. And it's funny because the neighbor to the north, who's a great guy, he just would mow the yard normal. And then, what's happening? Oh, Mr. Wilburn's here. Welcome, Wilburn. Welcome, Casey. Jack stands in cinder blocks. Mr. Sauve is here. Our Canadian connection is here. And it's really funny because so Lady Dougster mowed the lawn on that nice diagonal that everyone likes. And then not long afterwards, the neighbor to the north starts mowing his lawn on a diagonal, opposite diagonal of ours, too. You have North American covered, yes. And Dean's here, so we even have the Kiwis here. So we're international. We have North America covered. That's right. Dean was here. We never mow in the same pattern. I try not to mow in the same pattern. With at least 3 languages, that's right. Well, does Mark, do you speak French? Are you dual linguist? Are you dual lingual? When lingual? Only on Thursdays. So only on Thursday does he parlez-vous français? Oui, oui, oui. Well, remember, when you're speaking French, there's only 3 things that you need to know. 3 French words you need to know, and that's Melania knows 7 languages. Very smart first lady. I guess she is. We won't hold it against you. Cunning linguist. Yes. A very cunning linguist. Seven languages. Wow. The old colonel. Too blue. Yep. One for you and one for me. Yeah, it's kind of big dividing line in Canada. Either you drink the Labatt Blue or you drink the Molson Canadian. I like both, but I prefer the Molson Canadian. I like my beer Canadian. So usually if I can find it, if I can't find Molson Canadian, then I'll buy Labatt Blue. Got the old cart up and running and ready to sell again. Nice. Usually buy American beers. Yeah. I mean, like one of the things of Grand Rapids is we've been Beer City, USA for quite a while, and I mean there's just oodles and oodles of breweries. So if you'll go around, I'll go around and I'll drink a lot of the small brewery beers. But if I'm buying like a major label beer, American, it'll probably be like Miller or Coors. Never been a real Bud guy. Dan said it, so I don't have to. my parents are French. Went to a French school, but my first friend was English, and I really didn't have to. It came naturally. Well, yeah, okay. Y'all should join us tomorrow night live with King Bob's Model Works with Kim and till Kim and Buffs come on. My favorite beer was MGD. Oh yeah, I like Miller Genuine Draft. Miller High Life. That was the first beer I ever drank was a Miller High Life. I copped it from the old man. When I worked in Canada, I was known as the KFC Colonel on the radio. Yeah, Miller Lite's okay. I want to laugh. I failed high school because I failed French. Sacre bleu! As a matter of fact, the speaking of Frenchmen, the picture that heads the tonight's live is his name is Louis Campow, and Louis Campow is one of the founding fathers of Grand Rapids. Him and another guy named Charles E. Belknap founded Grand Rapids. One designed one side of the city, and the other designed the other side of the city. I think email just went through. I got a message saying I didn't first and didn't hear from you till when I hit you up. I can still taste the bite from the PBR I had 20 years ago. People in the U.S. fail English all the time. This is true. No, he's not Kentucky. He's a Texan. We have the money for beer. That's better than Bush. I like Bush beer. I don't mind Bush beer. A friend of mine used to drink it by the metric ton, so I guess I just learned to get a taste for it. Yeah, if I was going to buy anything from Anheuser-Busch, it would be Bush beer. Not Bush Light, Bush Original. Bavarian beer. Bush. I mastered the French. Kiss. Ooh. PBR's okay. You didn't hear it from me, but we have a big surprise planned for Thursday night. Oh. I didn't hear that either. You didn't hear it here on Wolverine Garage. Drank a lot of Bush in the late 80s. Yeah. I have the mustache and such, but my truck was frequently parked outside the KFC at the corner of the Bush Latte. No, don't care for the Bush Latte. See, I don't want to. I like to drink beer, and I might drink a few too many beers, and I get drunk along the way, so be it. But that's not my goal. I don't like those high octane beers, especially the mainstream stuff, because you taste the alcohol in it. Now, a lot of these microbrew beers will have 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12% ABVs, but you can't tell that they're strong beers until they reach right down and grab you by the hoo-ha and say, "Hey, how you doing?" I invited my buddy Billboard Builds, Chet. Give him a big welcome. Well, if he's here, hi, Chet. Nice. I'll have to pull out one of these nights. I'll dig through and pull out models, and I'll show. I know nothing about beer, never drank one in your life. You have two, Wilburn. You've probably drank ginger ale and root beer. So that's not alcoholic, but you've drank ale and you've drank beer. So there you go. Dan IT guy likes Bush, but he doesn't drink beer. I like Bush too. Good stuff. I brewed the beer for my last wedding. It was strong. Who grew the weed? Another great builder and friend. Awesome. Well, if he's here, welcome. Yeah, I have a semi truck model that my grandmother bought for me when I was a kid, and then she put it up and then intended to give to me as a Christmas gift and completely forgot. It wasn't until we had the auction at the farm that mom and dad were going through the house upstairs and they ran across the model, had my name on it, and I think it's a Kenworth semi tractor. And so I have a new in the box semi tractor from my childhood. I'll probably never put it together. A friend of mine used to drink Bullmax. It was the cheapest beer in the store and it only came in uh a liter and a half bottle, 40 ounce. Yeah, I've got a couple new in box models. I've got I think it's a Revell, and yeah, it's a Revell model, and it's the Mickey Thompson drag car. It's like a 74 Pontiac Grand Am. It's the Mickey Thompson Revelator drag car. It's the yellow one, not the orange one, and that one's new in the box. Um, all the bags are still sealed. Like the cellophane out exterior is been compromised, but the box is still in good shape, and none of the bags have been opened. Oh yeah, Goose IPA. I've had Goose IPA. And welcome, Damien. Yeah, um, thanks to my friend Freckle, I used to try to drink IPAs, and I couldn't stand them. And my friend's like, he goes, "Oh man, IPAs." I'm like, I can't drink that nasty crap. And he opens one and hands it to me. And I go, "What do you expect me to do with this?" He goes, "It's best to drink 6 of them." And I go, "I can hardly drink one. What makes you think I'm going to drink 6 of them?" And he goes, "I'm buying free beer." And I went, "Well, okay." And yeah, he's right. All the things that turn you off about an IPA at first are all the flavor hallmarks that you appreciate and understand later. True story. Invited my daughter Krista over to chat with us. Crystal Mitchell Pasco. Okay. My favorite beer is free. Yeah. Free beer, free beer. That's my favorite brand. It's the best tasting stuff in the entire land. I really slowed down a lot on my drinking though. As a matter of fact, my aunt at Easter, she's like, over in the garage fridge, she's like, we got a whole bunch of stuff if you'd like a drink. And I said, nah, I didn't even have a cocktail or anything. Just I don't know. Drinking don't hit me as much as I used to. Coors Bank is refreshing second in my opinion. Yes. The Coors beer has been said that the uh Coors beer is brewed with water so fresh that the fish ain't had a chance to have fun in it yet, if you know what I mean. He ignored the comment. What, the free beer? Can you do that as a short? Oh, the free beer? No, because I'm quoting a song from Da Youpers and probably get a copyright for it. If I drink beer, it's Coors or Miller Lite. Yeah, I like the Silver Bullet. Chet is in the house. Well, welcome, Chet. I always make the joke that because you call the Coors beer the Silver Bullet. Well, now that all the '80s guys are getting older, I call it the Silver Mullet, and you have already seen the Silver Mullet. Short form allows copyrighted music. Yeah, well, I gotta find it. It's got to be in the YouTube library. So if I find it, I'll do a free beer. I can't drink at all, not even champagne on New Year's Eve. It's been 20 years since. My mullet's growing silver. See, and you like Coors Light, silver mullet. Shorts less than a minute. Yes. Nope, I don't do TikTok. How many people pit in the streets that Coors comes from? Maybe it's best you don't know, Kev. What you don't know won't hurt you. I had a till we realized how blazing expensive it was really going to be. '80s guys are getting older. What makes you us '50s guys? Oh, younger. That makes us '50s guys. Yeah, but you guys didn't have the mullets and stuff. That's the only reason why I said the '80s guys. At least the fish haven't had a chance to have fun in it yet. That's right. Thoughts on the Voodoo Ranger series? Oh, good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah. Repost. Sell it on eBay and repair your truck. What, that model I got? No booze for me. Voodoo Ranger. Yeah, it's a series of, I cannot think of the actual brewery. But they have a whole line of the um voodoo stuff. It's a micro brew here in the States. Not true. They're hiding all kinds of crap in the food now. You have to scan the QR code, see if it's bioengineered. Yeah, the model is what Mexican Spec is talking about. Yeah, but it was a Christmas gift from my grandmother, and my grandmother's no longer with us. And I don't really foresee that model being. I would the only way that I would get rid of it is if I could trade it for a unbuilt Mickey Thompson Challenger 1 model, because I really love Mickey Thompson. and I love Challenger 1. So I would love to have a Challenger 1 model. I could sell a lot of stuff, as a matter of fact. I should sell some of my stuff. I still have a substantial original Nintendo collection that I've been hanging on to. Um, at one time, I thought I was going to be trading it off for repairs to like have eaves and stuff put on the house. I still probably could do that. Chat's a Mopar dude. All right. Anyone remember Tyrone Malone? New Belgian Brewing. That's it. That's it. Yes. Voodoo Ranger is from the New Belgian Brewing Company. Yes. Yep, he's right. It's New Belgian. Um, isn't it New Belgian that also has Fat Tire? That's good beer. That's got biscuit malt in it. Man, that stuff is so good. I like Fat Tire beer. I think that's from New Belgian. Tyrone Malone. The name sounds so familiar. Ah, drag trucks and the Bandag Bandit. Yes, the Bandag Bandit. Bandag Bandit's a bad machine. Yeah. Bandag Bandit is a semi truck with a big wing on the back of it, and they took that out on Bonneville Salt Flats with the Bandag Bandit on Bandag retreads, which is like, just to show how good. Oh, Ruby's Ball's in the office. Hi, Ruby. Yes. Yes, I'm familiar with the Bandag Bandit. Bandit. Yeah. Ma says she likes a fat tire with an orange slice. Okay, I like fruit. I like beer. I don't want fruit in my beer. Like people like to have the Blue Moon beer with an orange slice in it. I garage beer. I have yet to have the garage beer, but I've heard good things about it. Tyrone Malone model kit is badass. Yeah, if I could find uh, a Bandag Bandit model would be pretty damn cool. Google Tyrone Malone Wicked Machine. Okay. If I remember after the live stream. Went down the street the other day and saw a few dogs at random houses just sitting in their driveways. I know they all can't be named Ford. On the fruit and beer, although a lime with the Corona isn't bad at all. I don't like Corona. If I'm gonna drink Mexican beer, I want like Tecate or El Presidente or Dos Equis or Modelo Negro. I don't care for Corona. Tell us about the plates behind you and if you haven't told the story recently. Okay, the plates behind me are mainly Michigan plates, and then the black and white one here is the first Michigan plate issued by the state of Michigan, as actually like they gave you a plate before the 19, and that's 1910. And then before Michigan issued you a license plate, they actually gave you house numbers and that or numbers, and then you had to actually make like a leather license plate. You could go to like Sears or Montgomery Ward and order the numbers and then put them on a board or put them on a leather plate thing. I want a leather license plate, but those tend to be very, very expensive. So starting with 1910, which is the hardest to find, we have 1910, 11, 12, 13, And then I have 12 4-digit, and then some 12 5-digits. I have 13 4-digits, and then I have a pair of 13s because they came as pairs. So it's hard. It's rare to keep the. It's always try to keep your pairs together, but so 13s all the way down, and then the red on white, that is Michigan 1914. These are all Michigan, by the way. Michigan 1914. And then that's the end. All of these are porcelain on steel, like a bathtub. And then from 1914, that ends. And then they go to an embossed plate. And this is 1915. And if you look here, if I can get you in the corner, see the silver thing in the corner? That is a pewter medallion. And then so 1915, 1916, my Dodge Brothers porcelain on steel sign, that's a reproduction. And then 1916, or that's a 1915 here. 1916, 1917, this one's special because it's a 1917 M. M is manufacturer, and that means that was used by the auto industry on new cars. And then we have 1918, and then see how the Michigan is kind of squished beneath the medallion. And then the chocolate brown ones down here are 1919. And then we're back up to 1920, 1921, 1922, alone 1923, 1924s, unrestored. 1925s are restored. The manufacturer plate is restored. 1915s are restored. And then another 1925 Michigan 26 license plate. And this one has a diamond M because diamond M stands for million. So Michigan, even in 1926, had 1 million cars registered in the state, and they were real proud of that. So they put the M, diamond M, for million. And then a pair of 1927 plates. I have a pair of 1917 Ohios. I have a lone 1922 Illinois. I have a pair of Indiana 18s. And then here in the corner, those are Arizona copper license plates, both 1934. And then my map of the greater Grand Rapids area. And then here in the corner, these are all Dodge Brothers hubcaps from early teens cars. And that's my license plate tour. The one Ohio license plate that I'd like to get my hands on are the early Ohio plates, where everything, the word Ohio, is all in a circle. So there's 2 O's, an H, and an I, and they're all interlaid together. It makes you think of the old International Harvester logo. And so, yeah, those are only some of my license plates. I've got way more. Oh, and then the Pepsi cap that came from my sister. She found it for me and gave it to me, and I hung it up here in the office because, you know, Dougster and Pepsi. Do I have Ohio handicap plates? I have very little Ohio stuff. Well, because I'm a Michigan guy. I do have some Michigan. I have I forget what year it is, but it's a Ohio plate, and is there rum in that Pepsi? Actually, it's I'm drinking water tonight. Born in Arizona, moved to Babylonia, King Tut. He's a nut, funky Tut, Tut. King Tut, Tut. I have that album. I should pull that out. I have that comedy album of Steve Martin doing King Tut. But I have the Michigan colored maize and blue Ohio plates, and I have those hung up in my shop. Yeah, I just pulled out all my favorites because I love porcelain license plates. If I had it my way, if I had a whole bunch of money to waste, I would probably collect old, early teens um, license plates. Grandpa bought a rubber. Ohio is Michigan's Kentucky. I have I have a 73 Ohio license plates. I think it's a pair. And I bought them because it says right on the license plate, seatbelts fastened, and it has a question mark on it, which is so strange because I've never seen a question mark on a license plate. It ends in talk TTY. Cool. They all got melted down and made into toilets. Bucks, buckskin rubber for grandpa. That's why I had 15. Oh, okay. Steve Martin randomly says that on the album. Okay. Okay. I'm 11 aunts, 4 uncles. Good Lord. The biggest family I knew of, I worked with a guy who was the baby of 17 children. All dead now. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when he told me that he had 16 brothers and sisters. Mainly boys. It was like he had 10 brothers and 5 sisters. Or yeah, 10 brothers and 6 sisters. Yeah. Dad was the baby. My friend Dewey was the baby. this and all right. I'm going to mute you for a water pour. Don't do it. Well, you've laid down the gauntlet. I was going to do it. Yeah, uh, I mute it when I pour myself some water out of my jug because it makes some people want to have to use the potty. Grandma had to send 3 of her boys over for World War II. Pretty sure she worried a lot. Yeah. Um, my both of my grandfathers on both sides of my family were World War II vets. And my step grandfather also. My step grandfather was Army. My grandpa on mom's side of the family was Navy. Him and all his brothers were Navy. So that was a family tradition. Him and all his brothers were Navy. And then grandpa on dad's side, um, um, he was in the Air Corps before the Air Force. And I thought my great grandparents had a lot of kids with 5. Well, my mom's the second oldest of 6 kids. My dad had salt and pepper hair when brother and I deployed. When I got back, his hair was snow white and I was salt and pepper. Well, yeah, stress does that to you. Juggalos unite? I don't know about them juggalos there, Dino. I like the Fago. That's about it. We had huge family reunions, usually about 300-400 people when I was a kid. Good Lord. Well, we have a on my mom's side of the family. So, mom's, like I said, mom's second oldest of 6 kids. So we have a big family. And then when my grandmother remarried, she's all German, and she married into a German guy with a big family, and I think they had like at least 6 kids themselves. So we literally would take up the entire basement. Wendy, good to see you. So yeah, when both sides of the family would get together for like Christmas, we would literally fill the whole basement of my grandparents' house. A couple of my uncles were Navy, and I was Army stationed in Germany with Elvis, and one was stationed in Germany with Elvis. Wow, cool. I'm sure old Elvis was had it cake in the Army. Elvis has left the latrine. Yep. Grandpa was part of the Normandy landing at Juno Beach. He would never talk about the war, at least not in front of us kids. Yeah. Um I never really talked to my grandpa. He talked about some of his, well, he never, because he was the only male child in his family. He enlisted before Pearl Harbor was attacked to get away from his crazy ex-wife, and before he met my grandmother. And he was already in the service, and he was doing kitchen patrol KP duty peeling potatoes when he heard on the radio what happened at Pearl Harbor. And but him being the only male child in the family that lived past 9 years old, he never got sent overseas. They kept trying to send him overseas, and then because he was the only surviving male child, he never left the States. He spent his time in Arizona at an airfield in Arizona. And my dad has, when he was discharged, he bought a copy of the paper, and then I guess it was common to cut the front page out of the newspaper and sign it. And so my dad has that, and it says "My Last Day," and then you read the date of the newspaper, and then my grandpa signed it. My dad has it, and he also has a picture of my grandpa, a colorized picture of my grandpa. It's like an 8x10. And my dad figures that probably sat on my great grandmother's dresser during World War II. Also, we have a medallion that belonged to my great grandmother that she wore on her lapel that says "Son in Service." That's pretty cool. Flew a B-24 manufactured by Ford over Europe. Wow. Charles, Dad, Chet, Dan, Lincoln, Margaret, Ethel, Della, Winna, Audrey, Doris, Alma, Harriet, and that's aunts and uncles I can remember. And there's more. Holy crap. And old Chet saying a lot of that was because of the 5 Sullivan boys all died on the same ship. That's terrible. My second wife's father was a Normandy Beach survivor. He died the day I returned back from Germany. Now, my grandpa on dad's side, he would talk about some of his experiences on the airfield during World War II. And he would tell me all sorts of neat stories. And then, but I um, never talked to my my grandfather on my mom's side of the family. He passed when I was literally just an infant, and my grandpa, my step grandfather on mom's side of the family, I knew he seen some stuff, and we never talked about it. I do remember going and having my go to my aunt and uncle's house for the 4th of July, and they had a really nice place on the lake, and the neighbors were they were trikers, not bikers. They were trikers. They all had trikes, and most of them were Volkswagen powered. And they would load up this cannon and boom the cannon all weekend. And after a while, Grandpa would have enough of the booming cannon. I think it triggered him, and it would be not uncommon for Grandpa to duck out early, long before sundown for fireworks. He usually would go home for fireworks too. So yeah, I never really talked to my grandpa, my step grandpa, about the war because of that. I knew that he went through some stuff. My middle name, Leroy, was from my dad's Uncle Lincoln because he took mom to the hospital when I was born. Dad was on the road trucking as usual. My dad's a 42-year retired truck driver. Mom and dad got married in in 77, June of 77, and I came into this world in December of 77. And but that wasn't the reason why they got married. They were going to get married regardless. I just kind of stepped up their game a little bit. But my dad, um a week after he got married, he started his first driving job. 6 kids isn't big family until I have you beat on one of 17. Wendy, you are only the second I've ever met that out of 17 kids. I was just talking about one of my friends. He's the youngest of 17. And then the even funnier thing is that when his older sister was born, they said 16, that's a good round number. We're done. Oops, here's Dewey. My Uncle Sally, or Salvador, was never impressed with Elvis as a GI. I'm not surprised at all. I bet you he was lazier than lazy. Well, he had it cake. He was a showpiece. They probably had him so well protected that yeah. I had taken a trike from my half brother when I was maybe 19. It's still where I left it, but there's not much left of it. That's too bad. Still got my dad's 20 million mile award and his brass chauffeur's license badge. Those are cool. Those are way cool. I had a brass chauffeur's license badge, and I gave it to my friend J-Mo, who is Brother Bear. Welcome, my friend. I gave it to my friend J-Mo, who is a professional. Well, he hung up his keys, but he's a professional driver, and he would wear that old driver badge on his hat, and I thought that was pretty cool. Names purse. Tell you what, Wendy's mac and cheese she makes down to No Name Nationals is good vittles, people. Real good vittles. I don't think anything Wendy makes is terrible. Let me see. Nah, I got too much stuff on the desk. Otherwise, I'd show you the 1932 million plates that I have. Yep, he wore his badge on his hat. I still remember when people dressed for the job. Yes, a friend of my dad's, and then also I'm friends with his sons. He retired from the same place that my dad ended his driving career at, and he was a military guy. His name was Mike, and um, he was a military guy. And as a matter of fact, he met his wife because he worked at a mental hospital, and his wife was a nurse at the same mental hospital, and that's where they met. So they would tell everyone that they met in a mental hospital, and everyone would look at them weird. They said, "We had the keys," and so when Mike would go to work, he always had a sense of a military guy, but I mean, his wife would iron his underwear. I'm dead serious. When he would go to work to drive semi truck, it looked like that he stepped off the pages of the employee handbook. I mean, nice clean press shirt, his uniform, and they were this funny color of green and gold. The lettering on the shirt would be in gold for the company. But I mean, his hat was perfect, his uniform would be perfect, his trousers pressed, his boots would be shined, and yeah, he always looked mint every day. I mean, this guy, when he was retired, he would wear a button-down shirt and trousers to ride his tractor around and mow the lawn. He looked when he was in work clothes, he still looked really damn nice. He's just always well dressed. And I remember them saying that whenever they needed to do like white glove work, like they needed the best man appearance wise for the job, Mike could be sent because he always looked just mint every day. And that's the thing, what happened. I see truck drivers come in every day to pick up. And other than the Walmart drivers are in uniform and they always look professional and great. But other than Walmart drivers that come pick up at my facility, I mean, whatever happened to pride? Why is it acceptable to drive semi truck in flip flops? That's what I want to know. Apparently, those guys aren't running clutch pedals. Can you post it again after I move it after screenshot? Strange, I have all in the box, something in endurance. Always wore uniforms in the cabinet shop. I would ruin my clothes. Exactly. I want to probably I want them either a leather machinist's apron or a denim machinist's apron. I think I'm ready for that, especially with all the metal polishing I've been doing lately, just because I don't want to keep get all that aluminum dust on me. They'd be effed if you gave them a truck with a clutch pedal. Yeah, a lot of them wouldn't be able to drive it. That's the sad thing of all. All automatics for them. Some places will not work on their truck. Yeah, some places will not work on their trucks. Yes, Mark is right. Yeah, the I'm dead serious. I make the joke and all the guys laugh, but some of these truckers, I'm dead serious. They look like homeless people. Sweatpants and hoodies and they haven't they some of them smell something terrible. I mean, is it a truck driver or a homeless guy? Take a truck driver and put a, you know, homeless and hungry sign and people will give the poor guy money. And it's just like, what happened to professional drivers? I mean, my father didn't wear a bona fide uniform until he worked for the last company. He never wore a uniform. But even my father still went to work clean and presentable, ready to do business. Do you know why they won't? Aside from why they won't work, or aside from the difficulty getting paid? Um, I don't know, Mark. Got to dress for the job. I agree. Yeah, the my dad used to wear his uniform was my dad wore bibs to work, denim bibs. But he always wore a nice shirt and bibs. And if his bibs were all goofy, tattered up and stuff, he wouldn't wear them. He always wore boots, but um, but they were always of good shape and always a decent pair of boots. And yeah, my father was, viewed things as he was the face of the business, and that was another thing I had to say was all of my dad's co-workers all not nobody was dressed to the nines. Some you always had the pretty boy truckers, the guys that were flashy and dressed well, but everyone come to work, they didn't look like hobos. They didn't look like they do today. And it's just like it's sad. It's just like does anyone not have any pride anymore? That's the thing that bothers me is, what happened to a professional driver? A professional driver. And I don't see professional, I very rarely see professional drivers. Oh, yes. I know exactly what the hole in the floor of the cab is for. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen funnels next to the gear shifters with a hose that runs down the gear shifter and alongside the transmission for the same reason. But that tends to make the inside of the cab stink. Yes, I've been around semi trucks my entire life, Mark. I used to work at an asphalt company. I used to work on semi trucks. I mean, I've basically got diesel running through my veins. I will say one thing on a cool, crisp morning when the trucks are cold and you start them up and they're warming up, that smell of the diesel exhaust smoke in the cool morning, I love that smell. Always have and I always will. That's one of the things when I would when I worked at Dana Transport, Dana, like the axles. When I worked at Dana Transport in the late 80s and 90s, most of our drivers were collared shirts and typically said Dana on them. Well, of course, yeah, Dana axles, very image driven. Yeah, yeah, you were a Dana employee, and yeah, exactly. I love the smell of Cosby sauce in the morning. I gotta admit, I do like the smell of the Cosby sauce, especially when you give her a big old whiff of the Cosby sauce before she lights off. That smells the smell of winning because the truck started in the cold. Yes, sir, it did, Mark. Um, a friend of mine, um, a friend of the family, he was an excavator. He was actually what I would call an ADT man, meaning any damn thing. The man was just uber talented. He was a great mechanic. He was an excavator, he was a woodworker, he was a machinist. He just did all sorts of stuff. And one winter, one February, his dozer's in the wrong spot, and we need to take a big piece of equipment out back. And the dozer's in the wrong spot. We need to move the dozer. And he goes, in the morning, I stayed the night there with, I was friends with his son. His son's like 3 years older than me. And he goes, boys, tomorrow we need to move the dozer. And it's February, early February, and it's colder than the well digger's auger. And I already knew that that thing took like 12 gallons of oil. And I go, there's no way we're going to get that thing started. The batteries are flatter than piss on a plate. And there's no way we're going to get that thing started. And he goes, and he had a jump box that was it looked like a generator, but it was just for starting big pieces of equipment. And it had a big plate on it that said property of United States Air Force. He bought it from surplus, and it had a panel on it with a bunch of plugs in it. And he had a he had had a single plug with three plugs that come off of that. And if you plugged it in here, here, and here, you got this output of voltage, and then wherever you put it, it would give it different output voltages for starting different pieces of equipment. And we got it hooked up, put it to that dozer, that international dozer, and then we fired it up. And then he says, you let this run for a cigarette. And he lit a cigarette, and we shot the breeze for a cigarette. And then he jumped up on the machine. He goes, if this thing starts, when I nod to you, shut it down, then unhook it from the battery. Don't do that first, okay? It'll zap you. I'm like, okay. So he walks over to that thing after a cigarette, rushes the snow off the seat, opens up the controls, and he hits the button and gives it 3 snorts of ether in the intake, and that thing fired up. That thing spun over like it was hot batteries in August. It was amazing. And of course, all that 12 gallons of cold oil, that thing's just clicking and clacking, and because everything's just trying to churn that big oil. And then he nods to me. We shut down the starter, the pony, or whatever you call it, and pull it off. But holy crap, was that impressive. Yeah, Dana Corporation. There used to be a Dana facility in Syracuse, Indiana. A friend of mine worked at a trailer factory that made what brand was it? Liberty. Liberty trailers, double wides and single wides, double wides, and triple wides. And and literally you could walk out the back door of that facility and walk right into the Dana building. And so I remember Dana being there next door to where my friend worked. Does an air starter turn higher RPMs than an electric starter? No, it turns about the same RPMs. The advantage to the air starters is the fact that you don't have to run um, all the batteries like you do, because most of those big rigs are 24 volt, and you're running like one, two, three, four batteries or six batteries in 24 volt configuration, and all those that's a lot of weight and batteries. So when you run the air starter, and a lot of those were made by Ingersoll Rand, just like the air tools, you only had to run one battery to run everything. And the company that my dad's friend Floyd, a friend of the family, worked for, CCX. He worked for CCX Transportation. They all had air starters, and it was just weird. You want to see somebody look weird at you? Start up a rig with an air starter. The coolest starter system that I ever seen, and old Danster can back this one up because he's seen the video too, is we both watched this guy who's big on Detroit diesels, and he's got a an engine that's a twin cylinder Detroit diesel, and it has a hydraulic start on it. So you'd go up to it and you'd pump up the accumulator by hand, and then you would hit the lever and it would use the hydraulic pressure to start the engine. I never seen anything like that before or since. That was neat. So I mean, I've seen electrically started, I've seen them pneumatically started, but I never seen them hydraulically started until then. Consolidated Freight always had air starters. A big reservoir tank behind the Freightliner cab. Yes. Yeah, air starters are something else. They're big. They're big too. But there was so much weight savings to running the air starters. Being cranky, I like crank starters. You ain't gonna be hand cranking no freaking diesel, that's for sure. 22-to-1 compression ratio per cylinder, and a cylinder the size of a coffee can. All my uncles are truck drivers. Dana Corporation is not the same as Dana Transportation. Okay, thank you. Dana Transport is chemical and fuel transport. Ah, okay. Company. And it also had chemical tank washes. I was mechanic and then the parts manager. Gotcha, chat. Okay. Gotcha, chat. All right. Different than Dana Transport. I think I've seen Dana Chemical. Okay. Yeah, I worked for a little while at an asphalt company working on um dump trucks and the like. And yeah. Had one day I'm following I think Dana used green tractors like Matlock. Matlack? I don't know. And polished trailer tanks. Oh yeah, polished aluminum's so good. I remember when the trucking company that my dad used to work for, all the trucks came with Dayton wheels on them, the big 5-spoke Daytons. Consolidated Freight was green. Yes, Consolidated Freight was green. CCX was brown and white. CSX was the same stripy paint job in a different color though, because CCX and CSX were the same company. It was like subsidiaries of the same company. JB Hunts were like a butternut tan and orange. Schneider trucks were always orange. Company colors. Mayflowers have always been green and yellow. Uh, North Americans were always red, white, and blue, or blue and white. Yeah, a little red, white, and blue. Um, Atlas. No, not Atlas. Was it Atlas that was orange? There was two furniture movers that were orange. Chemical tanks are stainless and gas are aluminum, or food grade would be stainless also. TNT was Omaha orange and Wilburton white. Yes, the TNT was, yeah, Omaha orange and Wilburton white. Yes, there was a TNT office up by us. Thompson's National Transport. He was an Aussie. He was an Australian, and made so much money hauling freight in Australia that he went out and bought all sorts of, yeah. Used to know the Imran paint code for Dana Green. Imran paint, if you ain't careful, that stuff will kill you, my friend. Imran paint some nasty stuff if you ain't watching your P's and Q's with that stuff. Old Hank's truck pictures on site of Navajo rig in the desert. Bright aqua with a polished trailer. Oh, yeah. Mr. Clean was standard fleet red. Oh, McLean was standard fleet red. Overnight was navy blue. Roadway was orange, like a dark orange. I don't remember Roadway. I don't remember Roadway's colors. Orange and black. Yes, thank you. Yes, Roadway was orange and black. Yep, thank you, Danster. What else out there? PIE. I think those were green and white. No, blue. PIEs were blue and white. Omaha orange and indigo blue was Roadway. Yes. Yeah, Pacific Inter, yeah, PIE. No black on Roadway. It was blue. Wenger was blue, was red and white. Werner's used to be like powder blue at one time and yellow. Oh boy. Yeah, you used to be able to tell those big corporate colors. They used to stand right out. I hated the colors of the JB Hunt trucks because they were all that nasty tan and orange. See, we had so many local. Lions was light blue. I don't remember Lions. Lions Transportation. I don't remember Lions. We had Gainey around here, Gainey Transportation, and their trucks were burgundy, and those were good looking trucks. Steel case trucks. Have you guys ever seen a steel case truck? I'm sure you have, with the rainbow steel case down the trailers. They're navy blue. They're deep dark blue, like midnight blue. If you were driving for steel case as a truck driver for the first 3 or 4 years, up to 5 years of you working there, you never drove a truck except for in the yard, pulling them in and out. Yes, TMC, which stands for the Marine Corps. That's what TMC stands for. Yes, and they're Marine Corps colors. That's why they're black and gold. Yes, outlined in red. That's why they're black, gold, and red. And for the longest time, TMC's had a big deal with the Beacon car wash or truck wash, the Streakin' Beacons, to keep them pretty black tractors as clean as they could, because you know how dirty black looks real quick. Classmates' dad drove for them in 4th grade, 75, 76. Montfort Meat Hauler was badass trucks. most those most those cattle trucks tended to be really fancy rigs because those boys made good money. Those guys always made good money, and they usually kept those. Roadway never washed their trucks. I'm not surprised. I would love to tour the Yucatan someday, not the tourist stuff and the hunt for the perfect Puerto Rico. Phil, I know it comes from that Mexico. Another classmate's dad drove a sweet ass white Freightliner for Global Van Lines. Yes, UPS always debadged their trucks. I know that for a fact, Danster, because I worked as a security guard right out of high school. I worked at a UPS facility, and I all I did all day was seal up the loaded UPS little 20-footers. I would seal up all those trailers, and yeah, the all the trucks, if they had Fords, they had Max, and they had GMCs, old GMCs. But any of those trucks, they never had any. They debadged Freightliners. They had Freightliners when I was there. They had Freightliners, Max, and Fords, and none of them had their badging on them except for the Mack trucks had the Mack Bulldog on the hood only because that was the hood pull. So they didn't. Do you know why JB Hunt paints the bottoms of their trailers orange? Well, a lot of JB Hunt stuff is overseas containers, and so really the trailer is separate from the overseas container, and they painted them all orange probably as a way to identify, because when you go to those big rail yards like on the eastern seaboard or the western seaboard or Chicago, Illinois, with the big rail yards, is you're constantly taking and marrying containers to chassis and then divorcing containers from chassis. So it's just a way for visually to see that that's JB Hunt because they're orange, or it's a Hyundai because they're red, or it's this because they're blue. UPS was still running day cab white 5000 series tractors and cracker boxes in Ohio in the early 80s. Oh, absolutely. UPS is got like everything scienced out for their fleets, and everything is like, if a set of lifters will say is good for 200,000 miles, they'll run them 100,000 miles and then replace them with new ones. Regardless if the ones you're taking out look perfectly fine, they would replace them. And that's all. And I know a bunch of guys that work for the UPS facility up by us, and they work maintenance, and all they are is very highly paid part changers. They will get orders to tear into this perfectly fine running engine and replace these parts, regardless of condition, and then throw them away. Scrap all the parts. And one of the guys was actually like taking the parts, and he was using them for his own purposes, and he lost his job because of it, because he was stealing. And he's like, you guys are going to scrap it. And he goes, no matter, it's not yours to take, it's ours. Do you know what the gold Mack Bulldog means? I don't know of the gold Mack Bulldog, but I do know. Oh, the big dog, top of the line. Okay. Now I know that the guy who started Mack trucks, he had a heart attack or something like that, where he spent a lot of time in the Super Dog. Yes. Um, he spent a lot of time healing up in the hospital. He had like a major accident or something like that, but he was spent a lot of time in uh he spent a lot of time in the hospital, and he had carved that dog out of wood, out of boredom, and that ended up being Dougster missed the joke. Oh, great. Usually had over 1 million miles before scrapping. That's not that uncommon to turn 1 million miles on a tractor. Yes, was still when they are on their when they're on their side of the medium, he said, "Dang, look at that Schneider wagon." Most of Dana's over-the-road trucks were Pete's. Local were Max and Freightliners. Peterbilts are the Cadillacs of big rigs, folks. I firmly believe it. My favorite rigs have always been Peterbilts. My dad had a '74 cab over Peterbilt straight truck when I was a wee lad, and um, the funniest thing of all is that you'd see going down the highways, you used to see Mary Kay tractors going down the road, and they're Mary Kay pink. At that time, I think Mary Kay now, like little Mary Kay, took over the mom's business, and I think she changed her company color to lavender, but it used to be Mary Kay pink. Well, the GMC Astros had such a huge windshield in that you scratched yourself, and everyone outside the truck knew you did it. They could see you. But back to the Mary Kay tractors. The tractors and the trailers were Mary Kay pink. So, and Mary Kay knew that no guy wants to drive a Mary Kay pink truck and trailer. So what they did was they made sure to put the drivers in the best Peterbilts that money could buy. They would make sure to give them the most loaded up Peterbilts with all the bells and whistles and the gold standard Peterbilts. So as a consolation prize, yeah, you got a pink truck and a pink tractor, but at least you're driving one of the best trucks on the road, and they always looked mint. GMC Safari, no, the Astro. The Astro was a big rig. It was like a cracker box. It was a flat top. It was a um cab over GMC tractor. Yes. Well, there's an old joke, and so after um after World War II, there was three friends, and they all got their pay afterwards, and they decided that they all come home from World War II, that they were all going to take their pay and buy semi trucks and go trucking. And in a year, they were going to come back and they were going to see how everyone was doing if we were all making money. One bought a Peterbilt, one bought a Kenworth, one bought a Mack. So a year later, they meet and they all decide that they're going to christen their trucks. And they all go down to the party store and they each buy a fifth of their favorite booze. And the one guy walks up to his Peterbilt and he's got a fifth of whiskey in his hand and he says, I, W, oh, what's happening? Mrs. 6%, 94%. He goes up to his Peterbilt and says, I name you the George Washington. And he breaks the bottle of whiskey on the bumper and says, he was a damn good man and you're a damn good truck. And the other guy, he's got a fifth of rum and he goes over to his Kenworth and he says, I name you the Abraham Lincoln. And he breaks the bottle on the bumper and he says, he's a damn good man and you're a damn good truck. And the other guy, he's got a fifth of vodka and he goes up to his Mac and he goes, I name you the Theodore Roosevelt. And he busts the bottle on the fender and he goes, yes, he was a damn good man, but you're the only reason why I named you that because you're one of the Rough Riders. Roadway was big back in the day. Roadway was the bigger, the harder they fall. Yeah. My first job selling truck parts, you never really went by year, make, model. You identified parts by measuring and whatnot. You could find any match you wanted, or you would ask, is that on a Mac? Yep, Yale painted their trucks orange, which never made any sense. Couldn't, not could. Grew up in Jersey and Texachusetts. or Taxachusetts now, Rhode Island. There's a septic hauler whose office is painted in pastel colors, and it looks like an ice cream shop, Taxachusetts. Always like the logo of Old Dominion. Old Dominion picks up at our facility quite often. We get a lot of LTLs in, not as much as we used to. We get SIA, SAIA. We get SIA in. We get Dayton Freight. We get Old Dominion. We get Estes. We get those are the four I can think of off the top of my head. We get others in too. Central Transport, we'll get Central Transport in. Those are canary yellow trucks and trailers. Very rarely will we get Central Transport. We'll get we've been getting a lot of JB Hunts in lately. We get our pallets brought to us by JB Hunt trucks. Sharky. Have you guys ever seen Sharky Express trucks? They're ugly as sin. They're freaking Green Bay Packers colors. They're Green Bay green and yellow. Did I see that the Hulk came in? No, I didn't see the Hulkster. I'm going to go back. Got to find the Hulk. Where's the Hulkster? Mark Dean Mohawk. No, I'm not seeing the Hulkster. I'm going way back. Well, if I'm Hulk, if you're out there and I missed you, sorry, brother. No, if I missed the Hulkster, I apologize. Oh, brother, I'm here to body slam you. That's right. I'm going to hit you so hard that your family's going to feel it. For you see, Hulk Hogan, I am the cream, and the cream rises to the top. ABF Freight, yes, they're still around. Yes, ABF Freight. Overnight was an old freight. Overnight got consumed by UPS. UPS got big and they started buying a whole bunch of smaller trucking companies, which is funny because they bought up all these small trucking companies to try to get big, and they got big, and then all of a sudden UPS makes this big decision to sell a bunch of their trucks, and now there's T-Force. Yeah, overnight. Now it's T-Force. And they're still hauling UPS trailers. There's still UPS brown tractors, but it says T-Force on it instead of, yeah. Fun fact about FedEx. Look at the FedEx logo where it says the E and the X. If you look between the E and the X, they make an arrow. Now that I've told you that, look at the FedEx logo. You'll see the arrow. It's one of those things. You'll never unsee it. Yep, Federal Express. Yeah, Old Dominion is pretty big. R&L. R&L is another one that delivers to us, and they're down or north of me. They're building a brandy new R&L facility, which is strange. Which is strange because years before USF built a brandy new facility. This huge facility is probably sitting on at least 100 acres, and they built this brand new state of the art facility. They only ran it for like less than a decade, and then when U.S. Freightways up here it was USF Holland, but or yellow USF Holland, U.S. Freightways, all the same thing. When they went under, I thought for sure that some of these LTL companies would have pounced on that almost brand new building, but R&L literally built a brand new facility not even 5 miles down the street. And I don't understand why. You've got this turnkey building with all the infrastructure and everything ready to go, and they still built their own new terminal. Had to have it their way. When I was 12 years old, I loaded 2 trailer loads of Indy 500 tires for the May 73 race. Wow, cool. Very cool. There's a guy I watch here on YouTube. His name's John Ficarra, and if you're into racing and stuff, I really recommend John Ficarra. He does VinWiki stories too, and he's just a fascinating guy, and he's way cool. And he was talking about do you guys remember the ELF IndyCar, ELF? It was navy blue. It was the six-wheeled IndyCar. So it had like the 10-inch wheels in the front, and then it had normal tires in the back. And they were talking about the science behind those. And those guys would overdrive. Those tires were special made by Goodyear, and they would overdrive those tires, and they would actually overexpand, and then they would depressurize. Yeah, the Elf was a flop. Yes. I don't know. I forget who made the car. I don't know if it was Lola or not, Danster, to be honest with you. He tells you, but I don't remember. But they actually made sure to put peepholes up in the front. So what they were doing, because you could overdrive those tires and they would expand off the rim and go flat. So what they do is they fill the tires with paint. And then if you overdriven them, they would fling the paint out. And if you seen paint, you knew that you had flattened the tire. Indy tires were Firestone back then. Yeah. Yeah, the elf car was neat. I remember seeing that in a textbook I had as a kid, and I just me always anything mechanical I always was just fascinated by, and I remember just like that's so cool. The elf car was always so neat. I do know that at one time Mickey Thompson was making Indy car tires also. Pound for pound, Mickey Thompson had done more in the motorsports realm than any other. I mean, he did custom cars, he did Bonneville racing, he did stadium trucks, Baja racing, he invented the slingshot dragster, drag racing. I mean, what didn't Mickey do? He made tires, he made speed parts. He was amazing. Too bad he didn't get the Keebler sponsorship. Probably because they didn't have enough money in the hollow tree. Mickey Thompson had a house in the Akron area. How cool is that? Akron used to smell great back when I was a kid. Oh, because of the tires. Yeah, I like the smell of fresh tires. Always have. IndyCar still use Firestones. NASCAR runs Goodyear. Okay. My friends always called Firestones Flintstones. Always. Got a set of Flintstones, huh? Back when The Ford Explorers had the Firestone tires that were the problematic thing, and everyone and their brother, they had Firestone tires. They just couldn't have those on their ride no matter what. All Firestone tires were now evil, and it had nothing to do with the Firestone tires themselves. It was the Ford engineers that ran them low on air pressure for whatever reason, and that's what caused those Firestone tires to fail. So my friend was running a tire shop, so everything he owns has got Firestones on it. And we're like, why are you running those dangerous Firestones? And he's the one who explained it's an air pressure problem. It's nothing to do with the tires. And he goes, besides, I can't sell them to anybody. So screw it. I'll run it on my own stuff. So people pay him to take those tires, and then he run them on his stuff, and they buy a set of tires from him. Yeah, too many tire issues, right? I like Hoosier tires. Every so often, Hoosier will make street tires, and then they'll stop making street tires. Then they'll make street tires again, then they'll stop making street tires. But yeah, we would go down to see my lady's aunt and uncle, and we used to drive past one of the Hoosier tire facilities, and that was always cool to see. I wouldn't have Goodyear tires. They are a joke around here lately because they leak horribly. You know, I'm on my second set of Goodyears on Black Betty, my daily driver Ram truck. First set of Goodyears, I like this tire series, and I keep buying them. First time I've ever liked Goodyears. Lady Dougster had a set of Goodyear Wranglers that I absolutely despised. And but yeah, the Goodyears that I've got on Betty, I like them. As long as they keep making this particular model of tire, I'll keep buying them. I like Coopers, but man, Coopers have gotten so expensive. As a matter of fact, speaking of tires, Cooper tires, best known for quality. This is metal, and it is the thing that sits below the tire. The tire would be right here. So this would sit on the curb at the tire shop selling Coopers. My friend Ted at work gave this to me. He goes, I got this for you here. And I'm like, oh, how cool. I said, what do you want for it? He goes, a donation to your cause, man. Like, wow, thanks. I love Michelin's. I love Michelin's. We had a 90 Bonneville SSE, and this was before they finally started to supercharge them. So mine's got a 3.8 in it, and it was still 225 horsepower. But we needed tires, and we went to the local tire shop, and he had a whole bunch of 50% tread wear because he had some contract with some company where tires got to 50%, he had to change them out. And he goes, I got Michelin's. I'll sell them to you for X a tire, and it was cheap. He goes, they're all 50% war. And he started wheeling them out and showing them to me, and they were all exactly evenly worn, 50%. And he says, you have a problem with the tire? Come on back. We'll get you. Dougie likes Cooper. He was looking at my phone. That's funny. But yeah, we ended up putting a set of half-war Michelin's on that Bonneville, and it already drove like $1 million. Oh man, nothing beats them Michelin's. They're such a great tire. They're just expensive as frig. The auxiliary extra shock was on the right, and the leaf spring Exploder's 8-point-inch live axles always had a bad idea. Yeah, I'm always making fun of my friends who are Ford guys, and I'll be like, you'll see something gone bad on a Ford, and you're like, another bright idea from Ford, and just like, Doug, shut up. Best tires I ever had was a set of Continental Gold and White striped mud and snow. I was driving my minivan on roads most 4x4s couldn't in the snow and ice. Firehawks are my favorite for raised white leather tires. Yes. The best performing winter tire, like for if you're in the Rust Belt, Mastercraft directional snow tires. Those puppies just absolutely kick butt in the snow and ice. But when the weather turns warm, like by now, you should be taking them off your truck. So put them on in like late October and then take them off in April. Because because those winter tires with that soft compound, if you drive them year long, put them on in the winter and drive them. I remember Ohio. I remember hearing about Ohio. Hi, Kay. Nice to see you. Yeah, those directional snow tires, because they're such a soft compound. By next winter, the directional snows will be done. They'll be worn out. So yeah, I've actually seen Mastercraft directional snow tires stall out a truck in the snow. Gets that good of grip. So Ohio gas with boron, no fuel line freeze up, or so Ohio pays your tow. Danster owes Kev a Pepsi there. They both said the same thing. Jinx. Now I've seen Ohio like advertisements and stuff, but I've never actually like been to a Ohio station. Yanko Turbo Z Camaros came with Goodyear wing foots. I remember a friend of mine, he had remember when they were taking all sorts of brands and they were turning it into something else? And he had a t-shirt that at first it looked like it was a navy blue shirt with the yellow lettering. And from a distance, you thought it was a Goodyear t-shirt. But instead of the wing foot, it was a silhouette of a sexy girl and it said Goodyear on it. I had a t-shirt back in the day that looked like Abercrombie and Fitch logo, but it said Grabber Booty and Pinch. I also had a t-shirt that looked like the Bubblicious logo and it said Bootylicious on it. Before I became disabled in 21, a lot of our customers hauling gas would run Yokohama tires. Yeah, Yokohamas aren't too bad. I had Yokohamas, I've had Hankooks, and both of those were good, but had a set of Toyos, and I was not impressed. No, yeah, I was not impressed with the Toyos. Burned right through the set of Toyos, like 20,000 miles, and they were not a 20,000 mile tire. Just blew through a set of Toyos, and I paid good money for the Toyos too. That's what pissed me off the most. I'll never buy another set of Toyos just because of that. Had a set of Hankooks on my old 92 GT 5.0. Hey, Braden. On my it's almost 9:30. It's beyond that. It's 10:30 here. We'll run a little while longer, but I'll have to get off here real soon. Drag Camaro in Montreal had what I thought was a direct connection sticker on it. Turns out it said correct direction. I love it. Oh, Mark, you gave me a great idea. I like that. Correct direction. That's great. Best run I ever had was from Rock Island, Illinois to Okanagan, UP paid $900 to the drive per trip. No messing around. I could do the runs. Oh yeah, you've talked about that before. I have my muzzle loading lead propulsion device is made by Al Freeland Products of Rock Island, Illinois. From the shooter for the shooter is their slogan. Hankooks are made in Clarksville, Tennessee. Nice. Had to special order 14-inch tires for my Oldsmobile wagon. No one stocks them anymore. That's right, they don't stock them anymore. I'm not going to have a car to race, but I'm going to be at No Name. I'll have a car by then. See you all then. Cool. I'll be glad to see you there, Braden. Aren't Coker tires made over there in Tennessee? I think they are. Coker tires are good stuff, but Coker tires are really expensive. But then again, at least you get a good tire out of the deal. And Corky Coker is a cool dude. He's got such cool stuff, and I've watched a little bit of him roaming through his collection and stuff. Yeah, Corky Coker. Yeah, they got a lot of times, if you've got aluminum wheels and your tires are leaking, it's because the aluminum wheels corroded. And you got to break the tire off of the rim. And what's up, Mole? Got to break the tire off the rim and then clean up the rim surface and then put the tires back on. That's how usually the slow leaks are for me, is because of the corroded aluminum wheels. And then when you put the tire back on, put a lot of tire snot on. Trying not to be inappropriate, but I've been picking on all the hot people here, so you will not escape. Ooh. Smell a tat. Yeah, that's tire snot is bead sealer. Yeah, add bead sealers. Cokers are made in Chattanooga. So is Choo Choo Customs. Choo Choo Customs were the ones that did the El Camino SS's. The El Camino that took the same nose piece as the SS Monte Carlos. Dougster, you have to try Bougie mustard, iconic world champion stone ground mustard from Moline, Illinois. I love good mustard. If I ever find it, Mohawk, bring me a bottle of No Name, Mohawk, please. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I'll look for it. I'll let you know. If I can't find it, bring me a bottle of it. Where should sleep at Notre Dame National? So I'm thinking about sleeping in my car at Notre Dame National. Like Notre Dame, the college? Well, I mean, if you've got the money to do it, just grab a tent, and you can go probably find a KOA campground. Those are really nice campgrounds. You can just set up your tent and camp. And then usually KOAs have a pool, KOAs have flushable toilets, KOAs have hot showers, and I mean that's like about the most bougie camping that you can ever do. It's in a glass jar with a red lid. I'll bring you a jar to No Name. Okay. If there's anything that's up here in Michigan that you want Mohawk, you just name it and I'll bring it for you. If you're gonna cheap well, I mean, careful on some hotels. The cheaper the hotel, the I've been to some cheap hotels where I was scared to even sleep under the covers. We've A friend of mine turned me on to this one. If you're going to the Sleazebag Motel, get the room with two. If you're sleeping alone, get the room with two beds. Get a room with two beds, and then sleep on top of the covers of one bed and take the covers off of the other one and use those as blankets. Don't actually get under the sheets of those. Gotta get dinner made for tomorrow. Bye, Wendy. Good seeing you. You can bring us some Dougster from Michigan. All right. I can totally do that. Well, I'll be bringing the Fago. Everybody knows I bring the Fago. So everyone will be drinking Fago all weekend and at dinner. Annie, Wisconsin tonight. Annie, Wisconsin. Want me to bring like cheese? What do you want me to bring? That's Wisconsin native. Wow. Good job, everyone. Yep, I agree. What's the deal with the weird left turns? I really don't know why, but it's once you get used to them, they're not all that bad. Yeah, the Michigan lefts. Hi, Faith. Good to see you. I'm used to them because I've grown up around them all my life, and they're quite common up here. Um, I guess that's to free up congestion at lights because if you don't have all those weird lefts, then um, then you're all congested at the lights, trying to make your left hand turn. So instead of everyone being backed up at the left turn lane, you just go straight through the intersection, and then you got to go north to go south. It's kind of weird to understand, but it works. It does help with traffic flow. And I mean, because you people don't understand that you can make better time making all right hand turns, but people don't understand that. And the old saying, it's a joke, but at the same note, it's true. Two wrongs don't make a right, but three lefts do. I prefer hotels that don't allow pets. I've been flea bitten too many times, and oddly enough, it's usually in nicer hotels. I never even heard of potato bologna. No, I've never even heard of it. Never even heard of it, Stormtrooper. Finally back, I'd say that I prefer a good roundabout. They're coming in. They're starting to come in around here, roundabouts. And I don't mind them now that I'm used to them. But The a lot of people around here do not like roundabouts, including Lady Dougster. But oh yeah, I've had potato bread for sure. Potato bread is great. He agrees that I'm hot. Ah. My town has a roundabout. There's a band called Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen, and I really do like that band. But they have a song that's called "Stealing from 7-Eleven," and one line in the song is, "At 7-Eleven, two things you can do: steal from them or let them steal from you." I understand the jug handles in New Jersey. No left turns. You make a right turn to turn left. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. There's a couple of jug handles around in Michigan in particular in particular places. Like if you're going north out of Grand Rapids up Northland Drive and you get up to West River Drive, which is just a busy road with another busy road, and then the left turn lane would be backed up, 5 miles. People trying to make a left off of northbound Northland Drive onto West River Drive to go west, and then same thing. Oh, it's Ari. Good to see you, Ari. Long time no see. Good to see you, my friend. And then, yeah, they have a jug handle there where you get in the right lane and then come around the curve, and then it sends you westbound on West River Drive. Spent a lot of times in hotels on the road when we did the monster truck circuit. It's little cubes of potatoes and ham and spices and sausage. It's a Swedish dish. Okay. We don't have a lot of Swedish people down here, but a lot of the Swedes they settled up in the Upper Peninsula. That's where a lot of the Swedish in Michigan are. You get a ticket for you can get a ticket for no blinker on a roundabout when you can only turn one way. Okay, that's interesting. Love me some Swedish food. Oh yeah, Swedish meatballs and the smorgasbord. If I start cooking Swedish food, aren't I like contractually obligated to start talking like the Swedish chef? Morty, 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 morty. Bork, bork, bork. Midwest has a lot of good Swedish and Norway. Drivers in snowcross racing. Ooh, German food schnitzel. Yes, yes. Jaeger schnitzel, Hunter schnitzel. Yes. A little busy. Mexican spec. Been thinking of you all. Ready to take some. Oh yeah, good to see you. You know this is on the internet forever. Yeah, why? Because I did the Swedish Chef. You just made Beth howl out loud. Time to put the chickie in the basket. Mark, 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 mark. So that's the second time I made Beth laugh because she did a video earlier. She was working out in the yard and she found some baby squirrels asleep on the ground, and I made a comment where I made it sound like you're crazy. Oh, you're crazy, Coperino. Good to see you, bud. Um, and I made a comment sounding like I was David Attenborough saying how Tracy was cleaning her nest and she found baby squirrels and she did an excited dance around her nest, which got her mate, Dan the man, attention, and he knew to guard his nuts. The Betty Rubble laugh is coming out. Zup Coperino. Well, unfortunately, even though I've got all my friends here and I'm having myself a really rocking good time, we've been on for almost 3 hours, and I'm going to have to pull the plug. So, thanks for coming, everyone. Great hanging out with you. Had a good time, as always. So, let's be like the Beach Boys and let's get together and do it again. Be here, same Dougster time, same Dougster channel. Bye, everyone.